at sunrise, chanting, dancing to his name. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He would wake up everyone, rise and rejoice.
Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Chaitanya Mangal. Mother Sachi's grief. Mother Sachi heard the rumor that her son would accept sannyas. It was as if the sky had fallen on her head. Her heart was overcome, and Sachi fell unconscious. She became like a wild woman, and she went everywhere in the four directions. Everyone saw in Navadvip that she asked about that rumor. She became convinced her son would accept sannyas. Approaching Lord Vishwambara, she sighed, and then she said, "You are my son. You're the only eye in my body. If I cannot see you, I will see only blinding darkness." From the mouths of people I heard, "My dear son, my dear son will accept sannyas." This news is like the sky falling and breaking on my head. I am alone. I have no husband, and I have no one but you. Forgetting everyone, I gaze only on your face. You're funny, he's a natural devotee. Yeah, naturally meditating on the Lord. Because of affection and attachment. If I cannot see you, I will see only blinding darkness. The devotees are naturally like that. Because that's all it is. If you don't see the Lord, you see the darkness. There's a story with Jesus. Some guy had this near-death experience, and then Jesus came to him and he said, "I want to show you something. Look at me." So he looked at Jesus and he saw this beautiful paradise, the kingdom of God. And then Jesus moved his head away and he saw only but blinding darkness. Okay? So that's really the truth. The Lord's Maya is all darkness. See? And the truth is the Lord in his transcendental form. Okay? That was Lord Chaitanya, that was Radha and Krishna. Okay? That's the devotees, because when you look at them, you're looking at the Lord because they're looking at the Lord. Okay? When you speak to them, they remind you of Krishna. Okay? See, forgetting everyone, and just natural. When you start looking at the truth, that's all you want to see is what's real. What's eternal, right? And then you want to help others see that also. You forget everything else. You forget the world, actually, the material world. This becomes attractive, more attractive, and so it behooves us to become devotees. Otherwise, this world, without a taste for the Lord's transcendental form, and pastimes and qualities, and his nature, then we're naturally attracted here. Come back again and again. Right? So your eyes are the. See, I am all alone. I have no husband. I have no one but you. Forgetting everyone, I gaze only on your face. Your eyes are the lamps of my family. Everyone in Navadvip tells me, isn't that interesting? Your eyes are the lamps of my family. Your eyes. And so the Lord and the devotees, they look through the eyes of Shastra. They look through the eyes of the revealed scriptures. The eyes of devotion. Right? That's the real light. See, people, well, I'm in this world, the light of the world, because what he spoke was eternal truth. See, so because generally people in this world, they're not in the truth. They're in some other thing. Okay? So the devotees are. Okay? So that's why we need to be close to devotees who are in the truth. That's why it's isn't it nice to vacation? We take a little vacation, sadhu sangha, come here, take a dip in the Ganges. This is better. See, everyone in Navadvip tells me you are fortunate to have such a son. See, don't destroy my pride in my son. If you do not stay, my whole world will be burned to ashes. And that's how devotees feel. Without the Lord's presence, the world is empty, isn't it? Yeah. Especially when you get a taste for the truth, then it's like, my Lord, if you're not around, man, it's just empty. But to the world, it doesn't seem empty because they don't have a taste for this, for reality, for what's eternal. They haven't gotten that taste. That's why everybody needs to associate with devotees who are devotees ultimately, and progressive. Associate with those who have a taste for the Lord's actual transcendental form and his pastimes, his qualities. It's not enough just, well, I have a taste for the rules. Well, that's okay. That's something. I have a taste to do ceremonies. I have a taste to go and take prasadam and then socialize with persons in church. Okay? We actually need a taste for the Lord's transcendental form. His name is non-different than himself. His pastimes are non-different than himself. Talking about Krishna is non-different than him. Hearing about Krishna is non-different than him. Yeah, otherwise we'll be hearing some other stuff that is different. Right? Well, it is and it isn't. It's different from his transcendental potency anyway, the world is. But that's his external potency. When people say, well, it's all Krishna, like sometimes he says, it's all Krishna, the Krishna's coming through. Okay? But it's all Krishna, but it's Krishna. They have the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, and Shuddha Bhakti. But is Shuddha Bhakti coming through you? That's the question. Okay? So that's the distinction. Because it's kind of an illusion when you say it's all Krishna. It's kind of like you're illusioning people in that sense. Because in a sense it is, but it isn't. See, you need to make the distinction, because you might be like bamboozled, like, well, it sounds it's kind of right, isn't it? Yeah, it is all Krishna. Yeah, but it's Krishna. You see, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, my divine energy is very difficult to overcome. It's all Krishna. He says, yeah, it's my energy. It's very difficult to overcome, though. So, we need to make that distinction. What is the material energy? What is the spiritual energy? Who are we in relationship to that? Right? Who are others in relationship to that? Like the early Christians, they could identify. They said, this person has no love of God. He's a worldly person. He speaks like the worldly person. You ever see that? People, they speak of the world. You could tell they're really absorbed in the world. Yeah, because the love of God is not awakened in them yet. Okay? Those who have the love of God awakened in them, they like to speak about godly things. Reminds them of Krishna, attracts their life to be manifest in them. Yeah.
I've noticed that with God-loving people, and more so with Christians than Vaishnavas, so Christians can go, praise the Lord, all glories to the Lord, he's so great, he's so powerful, he's so strong. Mm-hmm. But that only gets you so far. We have this. I'm not trying to say we are better, but we can relish pastimes. There's only so much. Hallelujah, hallelujah, God be praised. It kind of goes, well, is there any more? Do we know anything else more about? So you can't really have kata. I mean, you can speak about Jesus and the stories in the Bible, which is great. I mean, it's beautiful, of course. I suppose the Christians have that. Yeah, they have Jesus Christ's pastimes. Yeah, don't mind me.
No, well, what they have is. With Vaishnavism, if you're qualified to taste mellows, it's just more varieties of tasting ras. That's all. That expands because of it says, remember, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. So God has a lot of words. God has a lot of aspects of His personality. God has a lot of devotees. You could relish these various relationships. So it's just an expansion. That's why a lot of Christians are actually qualified to relish some mellows, but they're just not open to it because they're limited by what they believe in the book. See, it's their paradigm, their conception. We're fortunate, but not everybody can do this. You have to get this Bhakti Lata Bij awakened in you. Because if it's not awakened, then it's, if you're a Christian and you can relish love of God, and Jesus and all, because that's the zone, man, is love for the Lord. And it's just, it's like just more spice with the expansion mellows. But there are many Vaishnavas, they can't relish these mellows that Christians, they know what love of God is. They feel this, it's very different than anything in this world. So most Vaishnavas are not yet awakened, or just a little bit maybe. This is the time for them now. Just like when Jesus came, it was a time for that to begin to manifest of the way of the Spirit. Now this is time again. Oh, it did 500 years ago, but this is again, a revival. So, you are my son, you are my great treasure in this world of birth and death. If I cannot see you, my whole world will become a jungle. And that's how it is, jungle. If you leave me and go away, I will be unfortunate and filled with sorrows. And you see, this is the separation feeling, but the Lord always comes back. That's what's beautiful about it. In this world, you may feel that way towards your spouse or child and everything. Sometimes they don't go back. They die or divorce you or something. Yeah. And then that's it. And you got to start bond with somebody again. You ever see the movies where people, they think, everything, and then something happens, they get divorced. And they think, oh, my world's all crashed. And then they meet, or the spouse dies, and they, and all of a sudden they get into a relationship again, and everything is okay again. That's the world. Replying to Karuna, they tend to praise the Lord and His name, etc., but fail to actually say the name, dancing around the name, and only saying it once in a while, praising His titles and adjectives, neglect the name. They won't chant it or sing it much because they think that's being repetition. Well, it depends on the kind of Christian, Some, there's a dancing, some are, very ecstatic, and they, So how will your soft feet walk on many journeys? When you are hungry and thirsty, from whom will you beg food? Yeah, so there's something like that. I feel like going back to, let's go to Bhagavatam, kind of in the philosophical mood, I think. So we read, this is Canto 6, Chapter 3, and verse number 17 now.
Wow, 3 verses, 2 verses we did. 3 verses.
Already?
No, 2 verses
Already?
yesterday.
Oh, just yesterday.
No, we did 2 verses yesterday.
Yeah. Well, who's counting? Him.
Oh, no!
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Yamaraj speaking, teaching his Yamadutas. Okay? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. He's self-sufficient and fully independent. He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. Okay? And those who take shelter of the Lord become like that also. You master the illusory energy because the Lord does it for you. You just take shelter of the supreme potency. And because he's the master of that, just by taking shelter of the master, then it becomes mastered. The whole thing is taking, see, the problem is the living entities take shelter of his external energy. They haven't made the distinction here clearly. So they don't know how to take shelter of the internal energy, or they're very little understanding. See? So the more we increase that, that's why the idea you associate with Shiksha Guru, who understands that topic better, how to take shelter more of the internal energy. Okay? And then you become freed from being manipulated and controlled by his Maya. Because everyone is a servant. The obstacles are a servant. Putana is a servant. Kamsa was a servant. He was, Kamsa, even though he caused people to suffer and all that, but still, he was controlled by the external energy, and it serves the Lord in some way. It kept people out of Vrindavan that he didn't want his pastimes disturbed, unless they had a lot of greed. Because you had to risk death to go there. Kamsa would, kill you. He said, you go to Vrindavan, we'll kill you. I don't want anybody. So he was like the guard, in a sense. But then, it's just like same thing now in this world. Everything is the Lord's servant. The coronavirus is the Lord's servant. See, if people don't know that, there's some part of the plan that plays in. The Lord's plan. I mean, people say, no, it's disconnected from God. No. In other words, everything is connected with the Lord. That's how you get out of fear and panic when you start to see the truth, that everything is connected to God's plan. This is part of the Lord's plan. Okay? So that's our work here, is to remind people of that, to teach them about how it's the Lord's plan. Because on one sense, you got the government participating in the Lord's plan in a certain way. There's a lot of things we can analyze the problem with that, or the fault in that. Some of the faults there, and it's there's some kind of organization that comes from that. It sort of works, but doesn't work perfectly. And it ends up leaving you. There's faults in it. There's some attributes and faults, and the same thing with you got the conspiracy theories. And, that may more or less be true. Maybe there are lizard people, here in this world, eating, babies and all this stuff.
And drinking blood.
Drinking bloods, and who knows, Yeah, maybe there is that, and people are saying, yeah, you should, this is really, but what can you do about it? And some people, I don't know, you go on Facebook and you start putting all that stuff, your account's finished. False, whatever, they already have the fake news group. Oh, this is all fake news, so we don't believe it, boom. Yeah, so, so anyway, there's that thing going. Does that give full shelter? You can get in and learn, all these theories and everything. And you could learn about, how they're controlling you and stuff. Yeah, but what can you do? What, are you going to have a big rebellion here? Well, I guess, maybe some people want to do that. They rebel everything, go and start raiding houses or something, or the government, So, you got the government trying to keep everybody in line, and you got the conspiracy theories fighting to, have the resistance, so anyway, there's that. And then there's
us.
Well, yeah, not only us, but people that are looking to the deeper picture and the bigger picture and taking shelter of the truth. See? So taking shelter of the truth is I mean, it's a more stable way, actually, a more fruitful way. I mean, you can get into any of these zones, and it's part of the Lord's service. But the way I see it, to me, this consciousness that's given through the truth, the conclusive truth, is like an eagle's eye view of over everything. It's like you're on top of a mountain and you're looking at the whole picture. See, if you're not on the top of the mountain, you're on one of these. You might be a David Icke diet dude, you know, and you're looking at that level. And you know what he's saying. There's a lot of I agree. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of that stuff probably going on. You know, and then you see the government's view, and you see the media's view, and you see all these things, and they're all, you know, under the super conscious direction of the Lord, and the demigods are working under the direction. I mean, and it's very hard to understand the Lord's plan in all this, but the more intimate association we get with the Lord, the more He reveals what He's doing. You know, like some of the things I see, a lot of this stuff is driving people back to source, driving people to take shelter. I mean, I'm getting so many friend requests. I'm getting people coming back that left and they become slackers for a while, and they just, or whatever it is, but now they think, well, hey man, it's time to get serious. People left the Krishna consciousness for years, and now all this stuff is driving them back to the Lord. You see? Whereas they, you know, if this didn't happen, it wouldn't do it. So that's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah, but you could look at the bad part of that. You know, people, oh, you see people are dying and all that stuff. You know, hey man, you know, the cure is already out, but they can't distribute it because there's not, you know, nobody's out there making it that I know of. The cure is already it's already curing people. You know, that stuff that used for malaria. And the dosage, everything, the guy knows what it is, and it's a 99% cure rate on it. He can't get it. People still die. And, you know, and there's so much information out there, you know, and all this, you know, people get, you know, and who knows their motives, and you got, you know, all that stuff is there. But ultimately, it'll drive everybody closer to God. Closer to the truth. I mean, because otherwise life in this world is basically futile. And the Lord knows that, and devotees know that too. It's futile just to live and die, and then take another birth, and get another family, and live and die, and then get another birth, and another family, and live and die, and go through all the sufferings that come from living and dying, and maybe taking birth in lower species sometimes because you get in bad association. Yeah, and do this millions and millions of times. Okay? It's futile, and you're caught. And to get out of this on your own without association is impossible. Actually, impossible. We need to associate. That's why the Lord, even people can't understand. You know, like the deeper levels, like we were teaching here. They can't understand. He has all these different paths. You know, you get into this path and that path, and there's steps. You know, but you know how. Yeah, so you know, but it's leading to one place ultimately, and that's back to Him, so that we can be happy again. There's no more. You know, we're not at our full potential. Hey, we're all built to have this eternal connection with the source, man. You know, there is a source, and we're all connected to it. See? So some people know it, and some people don't know it. Some people know it intellectually, but don't feel it and experience it. Some people experience it a little bit. So everyone is in a process of learning about it. And ultimately is you find the final process, which is you get the truth and be set free. Okay? That's why it all comes, and Jesus taught this, Lord Chaitanya taught this, all the scriptures are leading to being to the liberator, see, who teaches you the truth and how to access the truth without a lot of troubles. Yeah, that's where it's all going. Because we're all connected to that source, man. Everybody. That's our family. We're all family. If you think that this is just family here, just in our little nuclear groups, that's illusion. No. The truth is we're all connected, but we don't feel that. See? You don't feel that. And even a realized soul doesn't completely feel that because they can't, because people are feeling not related to them. It's like you either feel part of the spiritual family or the material family, or a little bit of both when you're in a halfway house. We're like a halfway house here, getting people to make the transition. All of us, so that we make the transition to this spiritual family, which is inclusive. I mean, even there's ecstatic Christians, and they talk about inclusion. Everybody's included, but they haven't perfected. They're on their way also to figuring out how to include everybody. But what they need is knowledge. They need the more conclusive truth than they got now to do that. I think we're in a better position to unite everybody than I've seen anybody do that. Okay? But everything is included. That's why this incarnation is the best one of them all. It's just common sense too. He's the latest incarnation. Lord Chaitanya is the latest incarnation, came with the most complete truth that can include everybody, include Christians and all of that. Okay? Include Muslims. Lord Chaitanya did. He gave Muslims the same love that he had and his devotees have. You don't have to, because the source is, we're all related to the source. He showed the source to Muslims, to anybody that was around, that was willing to receive it.
Pagans and Satanists.
Yeah, anything. Anybody. Robbers. Nityananda was, he'd get the robbers.
Romanians.
Yeah. Thieves, rogues.
Irish people.
Yeah. He showed himself the truth to those in false ego of, name and fame or pride and all that. They saw it, even though they didn't, they may respond to, and all that, but hey, man, that's part of the purification. It just moved them quickly down the path.
The chit shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, they say, the scriptures say 1/10,000th of a second with a association with a devotee is the most auspicious thing you get. You may not even recognize him or anything, but just that association. Yeah, because everybody's looking at the modes of nature, looking at people channeling the modes of nature. One out of millions are,
hooked up.
Oh yeah, in the spiritual dimension. Christina, wow, yes, we are all connected. Yes, Krishna is so great. He connects me with the greatest people on the planet. Oh, even far away, literally. I feel this plan for me now is awesome. Yeah, isn't that nice? It's nice because of your, the Lord is obviously very happy with you. He's showing you so many things. Showing that he's real, man, and he's showing that your relationship to him and all that. You're very blessed there, Christina. Very fortunate.
Yay.
And it goes for everybody out there, that likes this message here, because it's like she says, it's really quality people we got here. Amazing.
Even quality. Shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, you just become quality just by being here. By taking this to heart, you become, quality, qualification, qualification, that all comes naturally. The Lord just makes us qualified. That's his way.
A flower simply blooms under the sun.
Yeah. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. And the devotees become like that too, in a sense, independent. Independent is they're not restricted by the rules and regulations, because they have a relationship now with God. God uses, like this morning talking about, his transcendental hand purifies them. Yeah, they may have what people that in religion are not supposed to do, or it's like taboo, and it should be, because if a person doesn't have taste, you got to watch out. Even here in the Sangha, if you don't have strong taste, you can't just do what somebody does that has strong taste. You got to use your common sense. You can't say, well, he does it. Well, because if that person's taste is stronger, that means when they chant or something, they get this purification. And you won't get that extent of purified, and you will end up getting, with the energies. So you may have to follow more strictly until you reach such a position. So that's why when Nityananda was here, he wasn't following rules. But there were Brahmins who got a little like, hey man, well, why can't we do this and all that? And then Lord Chaitanya said, well, can you chant the holy name in such ecstasy like that? Because if you can't, then the sin will be born in you, and you'll start to be miserable, and what do you call, reactions will start manifesting in your life. Your life will become miserable because you get contaminated, and you can't get purified because of your ecstasy is not up to par like that level. See, so that's one thing. So he is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. So just by the more we take shelter of Krishna, the more we get mastery over the illusory energy, where it doesn't touch us as much. See, less and less and less. And the more ecstasy we have, and you walk through this world like floating, it doesn't touch you. And all these other people are all, And so we have, like here, provide a shelter for people. You can come here. You can come here, and just in this association, you'll get relief. That's the idea in that Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam verse. By regular classes in Srimad Bhagavatam, see, you come here, regular classes, talking about the truth, chanting in ecstasy and getting purified here. See, this is all that's troubles to the heart is uprooted. There's stuff in the heart, man, that's lodged in there. And that comes out when we hear the truth, and start to feel purified from hearing from the devotees, become cleansed. See, and then more bhakti starts to arise in our hearts, more shelter. See, more shelter. See, so all this troublesome, and then the Lord starts to arise more and more. You feel that? More and
Yes.
more? Yeah.
More and more. More than before.
Yeah. See, it's like a plant growing. Okay?
Simply.
So why wouldn't you want to continue to water it? Karuna. Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. So he has his form, qualities, and features. See? So he has his form, qualities, and features. And similarly, his order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features. See, bodily features, people think their bodies might be always beautiful. Bodily features, right? But Vyasadeva was very ugly, bodily. He had sex with this woman to procreate, and she had to put a bag over her head. She couldn't see him. He was so ugly. But look at the book he wrote. See, he had a beautiful spiritual body. See, their bodily features. Their spiritual body is very beautiful. But who can see it? You have to be spiritually awakened. You got to get the mercy to see it. And a form and qualities. See, the qualities also, because the devotees take shelter of the Lord on the ecstatic platform in their relationship, they have transcendental qualities that manifest. See? But who can see them again? Only those who are spiritually advanced. Or you get the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord's very merciful. And some people that, he says, oh, well, let me allow them to see some of this. And the main thing is you can appreciate the transcendental qualities of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. See, that's the main thing. And now that we start to take shelter of that. Features, and similarly his order possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature, almost like his. See, transcendental nature, because you meditate on Krishna, right? So much so that Krishna begins in this intimate state. The qualities of Krishna start to manifest. And that's where it comes out, where people think they know what is a pure devotee. See, a pure devotee is just somebody that is very close with Krishna. And then you start to see Krishna's real qualities, which are all in the book. But most Vaishnavas don't see this. They think, they have all these speculations. Oh, a Vaishnava is always humble. Lord Chaitanya wasn't always humble. Prabhupada wasn't always humble. It's a mood. Humble is a mood, right? It's a quality. Yeah? Sometimes Lord Chaitanya was angry. Is that... Okay? So transcendental qualities, this is what bewilders people, is the transcendental qualities of devotees. That's why they often hide. See? Or those who are not really transcendentally situated, they imitate the qualities. They think, well, a devotee is always humble, so then they act. It's an act. It's not really transcendental. Okay? The Lord shows many different qualities and states in his devotees also. That's how you learn about the transcendental qualities of the Lord and come to appreciate them. You see them on the body of a devotee. You see sometimes the devotee is very powerful, very authoritative, right? Why? Yeah. Because the Lord is like that. Yeah. And people say, well, that's not very humble. That's not a devotee. No, you see, yeah, they don't know. Yeah, but the book knows. That's why I say, hey, man, I'm here to teach what devotees, what the Lord's qualities are. And that means there's a certain amount of manifest. You got to see the Lord, like in Nishingadev. Oh, you don't think that's God, Nishingadev? Nishingadev came out of Lord Chaitanya sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but people say, see, he's not a Gaurahari, he's not a real devotee, he got angry. Yeah. Well, yeah, because Nityananda got angry, Lord Chaitanya got angry, Srivas got angry. Srivas was considered a anga, like a part of Lord Shiva. Actually, it says there in the so he got sometimes his wife sometimes be very afraid that he would get angry sometimes. But it's all transcendental. See? Devotees have the emotions that people have in this world, but they're transcendentalized. They cause a spiritual result. They cause purification. They cause us to understand the real nature of Krishna. If we don't understand and come to the point of acceptance of the Lord's nature, how are we going to enter the kingdom? Yamaraj says sometimes the Vishnu Dutas come to this world and people think they're in a mode of ignorance because they seem like common people. But what they do and how they act always has a transcendental result. Okay? Otherwise, there's no way that we can. That's why ultimately you have to meet the bona fide spiritual master, the bona fide devotee, and get real close to them and intimate with them. And then you get to see how much you really can accept people from the kingdom of God. Because they're the only ones going to show us and get us purified enough so that we can go there. That's why Jesus said, you are clean by the word I spoke to you. And that's how you get cleansed, man. They teach you and show you what devotees are like in the spiritual world. See? And part of the teaching is that you see, Lord Chaitanya was also angry sometimes. And the result was always purification. Sometimes he was humble. And that you see all of these things. Sometimes he was soft like a flower and sometimes hard like a thunderbolt. If you don't see that quality in nature on a devotee, then you will never see it in the Lord. Because the Lord sends his real nature. And if you can get through them, then that means you can get into the kingdom.
Yeah.
If you don't like a devotee and you don't like their way and this way and that way, then you can't go and be with the Lord. You know, I always like, you know, when I read the Bible, Jesus said, "I'm the way, the life, and the truth." I felt so much, oh man, I love hearing that from a person who is the way, the life, and the truth. It's true. I knew it. I loved hearing that. But if you're in false ego, you hear somebody now saying they're the way, the life, and the truth, you'll probably hate them, and you might be a religious person, or think you are. You know? But that's, the way, the life, and the truth is the real devotee, man. You know, you got to get through them to get to God. Yeah? And getting through them is you just like to, that's how you get intimate with God. You get intimate with them. You start to love their nature and qualities. That means you're starting to love God, and you'll certainly get the mercy of the Lord. That's the Shastras. Okay? But if you don't, then that's how distant you are from the kingdom. You have to stay at a distance. That's why, what do you think this on references? Oh, the Lord is up there. Yeah, you don't want to see the Lord how he really is, because you probably won't like him. Yeah, keep him on the altar. Keep him like this.
Like Han Solo in Star Wars.
Yeah, keep him like it. Don't let him talk to me, because I might get mad.
Freeze him.
I might confuse his nature with mundane people. I might think he's an ordinary person, is now ordinary common people, and that includes, I've seen common devotees. They're not even devotees yet, because if they did, they would appreciate the nature. They don't like this. They don't know. Just stay on the altar up there like this. Hey man, let me just look at your nice clothes. And the flowers. Oh, the garland, you're really wearing. But don't speak to me. You stay there.
That's hilarious.
Inert. I don't want to hear what you say. And the Lord said, well, I'm sending somebody here into this world, man. And they're going to speak to you. Oh, no, don't tell them. No. As soon as they start speaking or showing the nature of the Lord, how ecstatic the Lord is, and speaking the real solid truth. No, shut up, man. No, you're not supposed to show. Where we all know Rupa Goswami never showed spiritual emotion, and we can't really do it. We're just lying fuckers anyway, and we're bullshitting everybody, bullshitting you, bullshitting ourselves, and you come along, where'd you come from, and say, hey man, God is ecstatic, and God is truthful, and God gets angry, God is humble, God is all these things. We don't want to see that. We just want to see God on the altar like this. and put flowers on him, and clothes, and keep his mouth shut. Now, is that the truth? Pretty much. We dramatized it a little bit, but isn't that basically it?
Yeah.
How do I know this? Because I see people doing this to us here. You don't have like that. No, what are you doing? Keep it to yourself. Shut up. You're not supposed to show ecstasy. That means you're not bona fide. You know, our Lord never shows ecstasy. Proof is in the altar. Look in the altar. He ain't doing nothing. He's he's just looking like a statue of stone. Yeah.
Oh my God.
See? What do you think the Christian said? We got the living God in us. If you got the living God in you, you will be alive with little life of the Spirit, man. You will feel God's presence. You will manifest God's nature. You will be alive.
You be what?
Alive.
Oh, sorry.
Alive. With real life. Not this false pretensive stuff. This Maya. What is that to the Lord? Yeah. See, his bodily features and transcendental qualities are very beautiful. See, people think, oh, very beautiful, shiny and all that. You know what a beautiful quality, to see Advaita or being beaten by Lord Chaitanya is the beautiful quality of the Lord. Or to see Lord Chaitanya throwing a tantrum, man, and breaking holes in the walls there and breaking pots is a beautiful quality. And to see him sometimes very humble is a beautiful quality. Okay? To see him enthusiastically, doing anything, see him doing anything is a beautiful quality. Because it's on the Lord, man. That's why the pastimes of devotees, they just, the Lord walked to the barn. Walk to the barn. He served a piece of this food and that food and everything. And everything, because it's related to the Lord, devotees become ecstatic.
Yeah, that was, okay.
See?
That's great.
You may not like our classes here, but you got to admit, they are different. They're uncommon. And entertaining.
That's entertainment.
And I even once was not able to give a flower to a guru because I was not supposed to give a guru flowers. Oh, yes, that is not such a... You're not supposed to, especially you're a female, probably,
Jersey.
Yeah, you got a smaller brain.
Lady.
Stuff. She laughed. She don't like that. Especially if you're a blackie. Don't give flowers to gurus, man. Blackie's not allowed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you would love to receive a flower. Absolutely, man. If I gave it to you, am I? Right? Yeah, of course I would. Yeah, why wouldn't I want to receive a flower?
Oh, yes, that's...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya was a hooligan sometime, a king one. Yeah, everything he is and does is just beautiful to a devotee. But if you're not a devotee, then you'll just speculate on what you think a devotee is, and then you'll think, well, I'm just looking at these the hypocrites over there. They're putting on a show of being humble. They're not really humble. You know how many people I've seen in Vaishnava, they think, this is humble. You know what that definition of humble that devotees have in Vaishnavism that I've seen? Well, you're humble if you don't speak up. You're humble if you don't tell the truth. If you just, whatever your authorities tell you, even if it's lies and bullshit, you just go for it. That's humble. You just got to stuff it. You can't have any feelings or whatever that is because it's not very humble of you. I've seen it all the time. I've seen it over and over. Raganuga Sanghas, devotees saying things like that. It's not very humble of you to speak your truth, just share. I love man. That's if I would not be in Krishna consciousness if I couldn't be myself. Oh my goodness, where'd you find that? Karuna Sindhu. What is that?
That's Han Solo frozen in that.
Who?
In Star Wars when they cryogenically froze him.
Oh yeah, frozen.
And then we see Krishna, we just worship him like
oh yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah, frozen type.
Let me see.
Jacqueline, powerful and soothing. Srila Prabhupada was asked by a devotee in Calcutta, who will replace you when you move on? He answers, that will be revealed to you. I wish all people... he answered, that will be revealed to you. I wish for all people to become devotees. Yeah, and that's true. That will be revealed. Shiksha Guru will be revealed. And otherwise not. If the Lord reserves the right to reveal his real representative. Okay? So the representative reveals and even declares sometimes. Just like when Jesus has the saying, I'm the way, the life, truth, no one comes to the Father. So he declared it. Now, it's not revealed to everybody that's really truth. Somebody, who are you to say such a thing here? Pharisees didn't accept that. He said, who are you to say, you ripped their clothes. You're the Son of God. Forget it, man. See? So the devotees, they often reveal it. Prabhupada revealed it. Same thing. Hamsadutta told me a story once. And he said, some people asked, are you a pure devotee? Actually, I read this from him. He told me some personal stories, and I also read some stuff, because he had intimate dealings with him. And he said, Prabhupada was asked once, are you a pure devotee? And he says, well, I'm just really a fallen person. And then another time he was asked, are you a pure devotee? He said, yeah. Yeah, see, pure devotee is not what people think. Pure devotee is somebody that has the spiritual potency awakened in them and has this intimate relationship with God. You could be a nobody, just like Sridhar was a nobody. People think you got to be somebody to be a devotee. You got to be one of these big sannyasis. But this is the big sham, man. This is the big lie. You don't have to be one of these big sannyasis or gurus to have the mercy of the Lord, and that they have more mercy than you? No, not necessarily. See, this is what they don't know and what they don't teach in religion, in Vaishnavism. No, you got to see who has the symptoms of this bhakti, of this closeness, this intimacy with God. Who has those symptoms, man? Because if you're really close with God, use your common sense now. We'll kick it in on this, what we're preaching here. Use your common sense. If you're really close to a fire, you're going to be hot? Are you going to start sweating? Well, if you're close to the transcendental qualities of the Lord, if you're close to the Lord intimately, are you going to start manifesting transcendental qualities of the Lord?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to start understanding the Lord's mind? You're getting so close?
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's how it works. Who has the symptoms that they have revelation on the scriptures and not speculation? Yeah, when a person opens their mouth, I know where they're at immediately. There's no guru out there they can bamboozle me now. It's very simple. Just open your mouth. I'll know where you're at just by how you say what you say. Prabhupada saw that. He knew that also. You see what's inside the container when you're really close to the Lord. He gives you that ability. See that right here, this quality. You're not controlled and jerked around by his maya. I'll read that quality again. See, he's independent and master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. So a devotee that is really close and intimate with the Lord is not subject to the illusory energy of these persons that are on the level of hypocrisy still. That means you're automatically a hypocrite if you say you're delivering your disciples and you can't. If you don't have ecstatic love, you cannot deliver anybody. And delivering people don't even know what deliverance is. Deliverance, it means you awaken devotion in people. You are given the authority and the power and the potency by your word and your deeds and your energy and your association to purify people. The Lord uses you to deliver people. And that means you better have a lot of ecstatic devotion. And if that's not there, then you're not, you're still trying to understand what is Krishna consciousness. See? So, including the illusory energy. So those who are close to the Lord, they get protection from illusion. See? By a devotee who worships the Lord with loving ecstasy. See, that's intimacy, closeness. They get the right understanding. It destroys their illusions because the Lord helps them. And then if you're not so qualified, which 99.9% of people aren't, you need a shiksha guru at some point and realize their value so that this awakens in you this ability to worship the Lord in ecstasy. You notice that's what's happening here? People are getting that ability. They didn't have it before. Or it wasn't, maybe they had something, but it wasn't growing in the association of the Vaidhi level. They need this kind of association, where we welcome it. You know, when I first came to the temple in ISKCON, the tears just started welling up automatically, and I was chastised for it. See? So it's not a great place for that to happen. You know? And so here, people, if they have that tendency that, you know, they're like, their hearts have become soft because of maybe previous life development or whatever it is, they just like this association, then their bhakti will grow here, and does. Okay, you notice we're all growing every day more.
You can see how religion is a real contamination to bhakti growth. You can really see.
Yeah, to that level. See, it's okay on the Vaidhi level, it's a more neophyte. And Prabhupada knew that. And that's why he gave me the order in 1996 to make a place for people that are ready to progress. And you see people are coming here that were in the Vaidhi level and they couldn't get the shelter they wanted. They're ready for more. And so that's why we're here. And you'll see more and more will come. More and more will see that we're not bullshitting them, even though they hear, you know, we're just ourselves and just acting like normal people and not putting on any pretenses. You know, after a while, it just starts to become obvious that the Lord is with us, man. Krishna and Lord Chaitanya and Prabhupada and the whole parampara is strongly here and present to move people to the ecstatic platform. Well, what we talk about here is not discussed anywhere in Krishna consciousness. There's not the highest gurus here that discuss what we discuss in such a practical, clear way. And I'm not just saying people talking about Radhi this and all these intricate, but they don't have the ecstatic feelings. Therefore, they're inexperienced devotees. They're just on that level of talking about it and speculating on what they think it is. See? Here, you just take simple verses and relish mellows. You don't need to go and dance around a fancy dance, giving all these different complicated pastimes and intricate rasas intellectually and all of that. And you're just doing a fancy dance in front of people, bamboozling them. And they think, oh, you see, this in the mental plane of... You got to see person actually relishing ras. That's what you see here. It's not so... It's not a big, complicated thing. You see a person chanting a holy name in ecstasy. You see them chanting the names of Krishna and the qualities of Krishna and his devotees in ecstasy. You don't need any big fancy dissertation about all these and use all big words and all that stuff. Sanskrit words and quoting like this. People looking at all that. That's all external decoration, man. What's in the content, man? What's inside you? Is there bhakti inside you? Love of God inside you? Yes or no?
Yes.
People actually think cognitive dissonance is some kind of expression.
What does that mean, cognitive?
When you watch some of these spiritual teachers bamboozle you with their fucking philosophy, and you sit there in cognitive dissonance, your consciousness gets so flipped out by what they're saying. You go, wow, man, this guy must be so elevated because I can't fucking think right now. And that's not fucking spirituality. That's just fucking putting your consciousness into a fucking loop. We can perceive of the divine with this material mind. Some people can go to higher states of consciousness through their gyan and put their subjects into a fucking tizzy. You go, well, this must be spiritual because I can't understand it. But that's not spiritual.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah. I went to classes where, I couldn't understand the guru, man. And, I thought, whoa, God, must be some. But then I just like, it was like, I can't understand it.
What's the point?
What is this? And that was at a time where I was doubting my own understanding, realizing, because people, they were saying, well, this guru is so he's maha. And I go and listen to him, and I couldn't understand what he's talking. I thought, wow, he must be so high, I can't understand. But it was just not really like people were thinking. And I finally had to say that. Because I saw, okay, I started to like, okay, they're saying this stuff I can't understand. I couldn't even ask a good question in that Sangha. Your question's awful, and so high. I said, okay, well, let's look at this now gradually. So who has devotion? Who has ecstasy? And I looked around. I saw nothing but a bunch of false prestige and pride. Proud, and I saw Brahma. I won't say who it is or what Sangha it is. But because it's not necessary, really. It's just more to understand. You got to look by symptoms. I saw people that were brahmacharis, and as soon as they took sannyas, they became so puffed up. I couldn't believe it. I said, my God, are they proud, man? And I saw, I was looking. I spent time looking at all these things. And the teachers that were really respected, they had big pride issues. And people couldn't see it. They thought the pride was something to do with bhakti. I thought, what is this? Just like, and people say, oh, this is a Prabhupada. Oh, really? They think this proud thing is bhakti. No, I'm sorry, it's not, man.
Know you?
Do I know? I had a guy in Vrindavan, he was Prabhupada disciple, and I was sitting at the table next to him, and I said, hey, how you doing, And he says, looked at me, he says, do I know you?
It should make
I couldn't believe it, man.
It should make us softer and friendlier, like St. Francis of Assisi was. Loving everybody, not this fucking hierarchy.
Well, anyway, that's just what we're dealing with here, you see. So we're here to share, just in a very no-nonsense, practical way. Like Prabhupada. He was a no-nonsense.
And they string us along by saying, just keep listening, and you'll eventually
I was strung along long time. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Well, they keep you chewing on the bit.
Yeah, so Prabhupada says he wishes for everybody, like Jacqueline says, for everyone to become devotees. And that's so true. To become devotees means real devotees, not just like the Abbas devotee is somebody, you have the name devotee and you're following the rules and regulations, but devotion hasn't really awakened in your heart. Pure love of God is not awakened. So, and they don't, so the next stage is to teach that you can have this experience of pure love awaken in your heart. You don't have to wait for many lifetimes because it's just a matter of getting the mercy and when the mercy is being distributed, which is now.
If you want it, you can have it.
Now.
All you have to do is grab it.
Yeah, if it's available. It's not always available. Because, first of all, you need a person who worships the Lord in ecstatic love, and they need to get the order from the Lord to distribute it, because it causes a great purification, great fire over this planet when they start preaching. It can be very confusing, because you're coming from outside of the universe, bringing in something that even the demigods have a hard time understanding here. So this has to be backed. Like what we're doing is backed, and it's such a perfect time because all this, you see, everything's breaking up, society is breaking up, the coronavirus is breaking up, but this is breaking in. What we're doing is breaking into the world. See, this is hope for the world. So the Lord has got his plan in all this. Yeah, I don't think it's good, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, so, yeah. Interesting. So they have transcendental qualities in the nature almost like his own. See, almost because, there's individuality. The Lord is kind of very individual, and so are the devotees. That makes a little bit spice, little differences. You got to have some differences. Okay? But they're transcendental because they are actually the Lord's qualities coming through the devotee. That's really the truth. So they wander within this material world with full independence. I mean, I'm amazed, the Lord has made it because I'm not working a regular job. I just kind of wander, just in this world. And the Lord has made that arrangement, but it's not like I'm not working. This is the work, man. This is important work. Waking people up. And it's not only me now. Now we have a team, very specifically, and you kind of feel that way. We're just kind of like passing through and just, doing the Lord's very, very important work, saving people, bringing them into the truth. Teach them about, hey man, you've been just looking at this material world and energy. Now look at the spiritual dimension. Look, we have Prabhupada's books now. We can just have our sadhu sanghas regularly every day, and then you get more freedom. You don't have to be like manipulated and controlled by motivated persons. We come here, we get together, do sadhu sangha regularly, and you go about your life. You have a few attachments here and doing this and that. It's okay, it's fine now because you found the real path. Do you feel that too?
Oh yeah.
It's no more guilt. Oh, I ate an onion. Oh God, I've been there, done that. I lived in a temple and I went under the whammy. I would go through the marketplace and make sure, look at all the labels, make sure there was nothing wrong in the labels. Yeah. I was so on a mental plane. I know what that is. And I was not a Vaidhi Bhakti type, but I had no other option like people have now. So I was looking at the cheese. Is there any rennet? Just God, all this because I didn't want to be guilty. Jesus. I didn't want to break any principle that I got to follow everything like this. And I was on on that, and I wasn't happy in my heart, because it was kind of the mental platform.
Kind of.
Big time. Yeah. And so anyway, now I learned that, hey man, because I was always naturally a Raganuga Bhakti, and it was the thing to kind of really get into this path, learn about this path, and teach this path for those who are ready. Have a place, a sangha, where we can be together, and this is what people see. Yeah, if you can accept ecstatic worship, man, the Lord will roam in your life, man. You'll feel Him within you, and then you can relax a little bit. Whether you eat a garlic thing or a mushroom or a red carrot, people think, oh, red carrot, man, that's really, red blood, all this, like it's going to save you or something. You think God is up there, you ate a garlic thing? There was a little bit of rennet in that thing? Oh, man, you're going to hell for that? God. I used to believe this shit.
God put garlic down.
Anybody believe in that, man? Oh my God!
Good luck.
Yeah, keep believing until you're ready for this, man. You get free. It's like taking off a tight pair of shoes. I have no fear of that stuff anymore. Yeah, I was never even wanted to do it, but I had no option. I just wanted Krishna, and I loved Prabhupada. I loved his books. So it just took me a while, I have to kind of study them, for a long time, because in that association it was really hard. They kept me working 12 hours a day.
Oh yeah, keep you busy.
Friggin' busy. I had no time to...
No thinking.
7 days a week. Don't think, just work, man. You're serving, serve.
Yeah. Fall in bed exhausted, wake up before, anyway, here we go.
Yeah. Anyway, it took me about 10 years to figure it out. 10 or 12 years to kind of get more and more savvy. I had to go through, wasn't easy, but now it's easier for my friends. They can, make it easier for them. They don't have to go through all this shit.
Yeah. It's like God put all the garlic on the earth just to trip us up. You really think so?
Yeah.
Like fucking weirdos.
Yeah. We need your words for fertilizer. Yeah, Christina. When people are too much in the head, exactly. Not in the heart, where your real Krishna consciousness is, then you get bamboozled. Yeah.
Bamboozled. Yeah. That's a nice word.
Yeah. First thing I witnessed, the real serious austere pride vibes of a big brahmachari giving a class in New York. Yeah, this. It is, they can't help it, man. If you don't have this kind of association where you're relishing ecstatic devotion, you're going to have to taste these other, what they call the other creepers, and they're not part of the bhakti creeper, and they're, just gradually, when they understand that everything they're doing is leading to transcendental association, person that is a real transcendentalist. Okay? And then they listen and they hear and get purified. They learn that pride is not is not real bhakti. They think, so. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, So, purport. Yamaraj was describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, but the order carriers of Yamaraj were very eager to know about the Vishnudutas. And that's what you need. You need the eagerness to come and approach a person that actually knows deeper truth. Because if you don't have that eagerness or that openness, then you won't listen. See? And so they were, and so Yamaraj instructed them. Oh, that's very good that you want to know these things. Now, see? If the Yamadutas were thinking, well, we know all about the truth and about the way things supposed to be and all that stuff. See, then they wouldn't be able to, Yamaraj wouldn't open up to them. See, that's why that submissive and surrender mood is very important. And because anybody, even a person knows nothing about Krishna consciousness, if they come here and they just are open to hearing, and they're, just naturally hearing, and this message touches their heart, and they become naturally open and surrendered and submissive to the truth, then they just spontaneously make advancement, spontaneously get enlightened, just by association, by receiving. See, by receiving this energy. Yeah, that's simple. Okay, this is what Prabhupada's books really teach. Okay? Submissive and surrendered hearing. Wasn't Arjuna? He became submissive and surrendered, and then he heard the transcendental vibration from Krishna, who was acting as his guru. Well, the real guru is like that, man. Their words are empowered by the Lord, and they have a very powerful effect if you're submissive and surrendered. See? So, but you can't artificially do that. You have to get here, here, and here and become convinced. See? Intelligently. Otherwise, this is this blind faith thing, and it never works out right. That's for that neophyte level, because there's a lack of truth there. The people have to kind of manipulate you a little bit, trick you, a little deceive you, some deceptions. See? So that blind belief is almost necessary, because the blind leaders are blind, followers. But here, your eyes need to be opened. Okay, I'm going to stop now.
Great classical match.
Yeah.
I feel like pushing it, man. My throat is hurt. Cole says, I don't even know how to worship a deity properly. I only know how to seek and worship Krishna with all my heart. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. First thing I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay, I got that. So I don't even know how to worship a deity properly. I only know how to seek and worship Krishna with all my heart. Well, see, the deity, Krishna and the deity are the same. Okay, that's what you learn from the guru. You start to see you are worshiping Krishna with all your heart when you're worshiping the deity. And the deity can be the name. How it's like, okay, well, if you're Raganuga Bhakta and you learn these principles, okay, well, what is your way of worshiping the deity? It's not the deity. There's no difference between the deity and the name of Krishna. Same, right? Same result. They're both forms of the Lord. Okay? So you are doing deity worship. Okay? And proper worship of the deity is taught by the guru, the bona fide spiritual master, and that's the big lesson, because that's when you get. It's otherwise, if you try to go directly without learning from the guru, there's all these subtle illusions that you can't get through. subtle things. Why you think that you have your personal relationship with Krishna without the guru? When you find the guru that delivers you, it's not like that. You actually see how important they are in bringing you, connecting you with Krishna without troubles. Otherwise, you'll go through a lot of troubles. That's Chris. So, in other words, and this is a good way to understand this. Lord Chaitanya taught his devotees. He said, "You worship your Srivas as your guru. In this way, you will perfect your Krishna consciousness." So, if you want to perfect your Krishna consciousness, then you have to go through a bona fide guru and understand. The good way to learn how those who are really perfecting their Krishna consciousness and staying really steady, you look at Lalita. You want to learn? You look at River. You look at Govinda. See? And you observe very carefully, because of the ones that are really getting it right, and there's others here, Janaki. So I don't want to leave anybody. Johan, I got to go through the whole friggin' thing because he left me out. Hey man, we got a lot perfecting their Krishna consciousness nicely, you know. And anyway, you look at those who are really surrendered, ecstatic, and empowered like this, and you see what they're doing, and to learn how to perfect your Krishna consciousness. Learn from them. See, and they'll tell you how they're perfecting it, and because they're going really deep into it. Okay? And you look at how they carry themselves, what they say, what they do, how they do it, and what they teach by their example and by their word also. Okay? This is the path. You have to become the path. You have to become a real disciple of a real guru, and then you really enter nicely, without troubles, into the intimate association of Krishna. So learn from the witnesses. I'm amazed the Lord has brought such good ones here. Yeah.
Get ready to run.
Yeah, Karuna too.
Yeah, oh, I thought I was good after her.
In his unique way.
That's it. Conspicuous by his absence. That's a good one.
I didn't even know how to worship deity properly. I only know how to. Yeah, exactly. True, as Tuka replied to call. That's endearing, and of course you don't need to know. It's true, man. Yeah. You would have, as Tuka says, you would have to step down to a lower platform to do that. Same here, Maharaj. The neurotic crap, yeah. Cool. I think I'll stay right here in this Sangha instead. Thank you for being patient. Sure, yeah, no problem. Patience is what we're all about. I think. All these years, until just recently, Tuka says, all that Vaidhi religion has been such a disease, retarding my preaching, and neurosis, making me make Krishna look bad. Yeah, it was just that level. You just, Krishna knew that you were ready for this. Yeah. But I think I became an ISKCONite because of my impure desire to exploit spirituality for my own motives. Okay, well, that could be. Johnny, thank you. Best class ever, as always. Cool. Wow, thank you for saying that. You're welcome. Yeah, so anyway, that's just how I'm seeing things. We have great teachers in this Sangha, man. By their example, they teach how to become devotees, Yeah, just really amazing. Took a great class. My roommate in recovery heard it. And was listening and seemed a little blissed out. Oh, great.
Yes.
I needed to hear this. Oh, okay, great, yeah. Tuka, he just kicked heroin and has been getting some mercy from us the past several days. Pray for him. Yeah, so to your friend, all you have, just keep coming here, and you'll find, just use your own intelligence, just come here regularly and see, and you'll see how amazing it is And you'll see that everything that's brought you to this place, has been, is well worth it, whatever it is. And you'll get a wealth here that you can't get anywhere. Really, you'll see it yourself. So just keep coming and find out for yourself these things. A lot of obvious reasons. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of. Sorry, my voice is. Oops. This song is the best cure for withdrawals. Yeah. The holy names have saved many from drugs. Yeah. Yeah, and this is to help to go a little bit deeper, to understand the deeper thing. To become really transcendently engaged is possible here. Yeah, okay. Now, okay, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
It's finished.